What happens when a young girl from Pasadena transforms from a flying nun into one of Hollywood's most respected dramatic actresses, accumulating a fortune worth $55 million along the way? Today, we're diving deep into the extraordinary world of Sally Field, exploring her stunning oceanfront mansion, her impressive art collection, and the private struggles that shaped the woman behind the spotlight. Sally Margaret Field was born on November 6, 1946. In Pasadena, California, but her childhood was far from the glamorous Hollywood story you might expect. Her father, Richard Damon Field, was an Army officer who struggled with his own demons, and her mother, Margaret Field, was an actress trying to make it in an unforgiving industry. The family dynamics were complicated from the start. Richard's military background brought structure but also distance, while Margaret's pursuit of acting meant young Sally often found herself in the care of others. The turning point came when Sally was just 4 years old. Her parents divorced, and her mother married Jock Mahoney, a stuntman who would later become famous for playing Tarzan. But this wasn't the fairy tale stepfather story Hollywood loves to tell. Behind closed doors, Mahoney's presence brought new challenges that would shape Sally's understanding of resilience and survival. She would later reveal in her memoir that Mahoney was both physically and emotionally abusive, creating an environment where young Sally learned to retreat into herself, finding solace in performance and imagination. These early experiences with instability and trauma would become the foundation for Sally's incredible ability to tap into raw emotion on screen. But at the time, she was just a teenager trying to find her place in the world. She attended Birmingham High School in Van Nuys, where she discovered acting in drama class. Her teacher recognized something special in this quiet, introspective girl who could channel pain into performance with startling authenticity. Sally's first break came in 1965 when she was just 19 years old. She landed the lead role in Gidget, a beach-themed sitcom that would run for just one season but would forever change her life. Playing the perky, optimistic Frances Lawrence, Sally found herself typecast as America's sweetheart. The show's brief run was disappointing, but it opened doors she never imagined possible. Almost immediately after Gidget ended, Sally was cast in what would become one of television's most beloved and bizarre series, The Flying Nun. From 1967 to 1970, Sally portrayed Sister Bertrille, a young nun whose cornet allowed her to literally fly through the air. The premise was absurd, but Sally's commitment to the role was absolute. She brought depth and sincerity to what could have been merely a gimmick, making audiences believe in the magic while never losing sight of the character's humanity. But success in television comedy came with a price. Sally found herself trapped in a box, seen only as the wholesome girl next door. Behind the scenes, she was battling her own demons. The pressure of being in the public eye, combined with her complicated family dynamics and a struggling marriage to her high school sweetheart, Stephen Craig created a perfect storm of personal challenges. During this period, Sally was also dealing with what she would later identify as bipolar disorder. The extreme highs and lows of her condition were often mistaken for typical Hollywood drama. But for Sally, these weren't just mood swings. They were genuine struggles with mental health that went largely unrecognized and untreated for years. She found herself using the discipline of acting as both an escape and a form of therapy, pouring her emotional turbulence into her performances. The late 1960s and early 1970s were a time of tremendous social change in America, and Sally felt the pull to be part of something more meaningful than light television comedy. She began studying at the Actors Studio in New York, working with legendary coach Lee Strasberg. This was where Sally truly learned to harness her natural talent and transform her personal pain into artistic gold. Strasberg saw in her what others had missed, a depth of feeling that could translate into powerful dramatic performance. The transformation wasn't easy. Sally had to fight against years of typecasting and prove that she was more than just a pretty face who could deliver punchlines. She took on challenging stage roles, working for minimal pay but gaining invaluable experience. During this time, her marriage to Stephen Craig was falling apart. The couple had 2 sons together, Peter and Eli, and Sally was determined to provide stability for them, even as her own life felt increasingly chaotic. Her breakthrough dramatic role came in 1976 with the television movie Sybil, where she portrayed a woman with multiple personality disorder. The role was emotionally devastating and physically demanding, requiring Sally to embody 16 different personalities. Her performance was nothing short of miraculous, earning her critical acclaim and proving once and for all that she was a serious dramatic actress. The role earned her an Emmy Award and changed the trajectory of her career forever. But it was her next major film role that would truly establish Sally as a force to be reckoned with. In 1979, she starred opposite Burt Reynolds in Norma Rae, playing a factory worker who becomes involved in labor union activities. The role required Sally to tap into working-class struggles and find the fierce determination of a woman fighting for justice. Her performance was raw, authentic, and powerful, earning her the Academy Award for Best Actress. The famous acceptance speech moment, where Sally exclaimed, "You like me? You really like me?" has become one of the most parodied moments in Oscar history. But what many people don't realize is the deep vulnerability behind those words. After years of feeling dismissed and underestimated, Sally's genuine surprise and joy at being recognized for her dramatic work was palpable. That moment revealed the insecure young woman who still lived inside the accomplished actress. Sally's relationship with Burt Reynolds, which began during the filming of Smokey and the Bandit in 1977, was one of Hollywood's most talked-about romances of the era. Reynolds was at the height of his fame, the biggest box office star in the world, and Sally found herself thrust into a level of celebrity she had never experienced. Their relationship was passionate but turbulent, with Reynolds' larger-than-life personality often overwhelming Sally's more introspective nature. The couple made several films together, including Smokey and the Bandit 2 and The End, but their personal relationship was complicated by Reynolds' struggles with prescription drug addiction and his controlling behavior. Sally has since spoken candidly about how Reynolds could be both charming and manipulative, often making her feel small and insignificant despite her own considerable success. During their relationship, Sally continued to build her dramatic credentials with roles in films like Absence of Malice opposite Paul Newman. Her performance as a journalist caught in a web of FBI manipulation earned her another Oscar nomination and solidified her reputation as one of Hollywood's most reliable dramatic actresses. But the pressure of maintaining a high-profile relationship while navigating her own career challenges was taking its toll. The early 1980s brought both triumph and heartbreak. Sally's performance in Places in the Heart, as a Depression-era widow fighting to save her farm, earned her a second Academy Award for Best Actress. The role was deeply personal for Sally, drawing on her own experiences as a single mother and her family's history in rural America. Her acceptance speech was more composed than her first, but the emotion was equally genuine. However, her relationship with Reynolds was crumbling. His drug problems were escalating, and Sally found herself in the familiar position of trying to save someone who didn't want to be saved. The relationship ended in 1982, leaving Sally heartbroken but ultimately relieved to escape what had become a toxic dynamic. In 1984, Sally married producer Alan Greisman, hoping to find the stability that had eluded her in previous relationships. The couple had a son, Samuel, in 1987, and for a time it seemed Sally had found the balance between career and personal happiness she had been seeking. But Hollywood marriages are notoriously difficult to maintain, and the pressures of two demanding careers eventually took their toll on this relationship as well. The late 1980s and early 1990s saw Sally taking on a variety of roles that showcased her versatility. She starred in the ensemble comedy Steel Magnolias, alongside Julia Roberts, Dolly Parton, and Shirley MacLaine. Her portrayal of Malin, a mother dealing with her daughter's life-threatening illness, was both heartbreaking and inspiring. The famous cemetery scene, where Malin breaks down after her daughter's funeral, ranks among Sally's finest moments on screen. Sally's personal life during this period was marked by her commitment to her 3 sons and her growing awareness of her own mental health needs. She began therapy and started taking medication for her bipolar disorder, finding that proper treatment allowed her to maintain better relationships and make clearer career choices. This period of personal growth coincided with some of her most memorable performances. In 1993, Sally took on perhaps her most challenging role yet, Mrs. Doubtfire, the stern social worker in the Robin Williams comedy. Playing opposite Williams required Sally to match his improvisational energy while maintaining her character's no-nonsense demeanor. The film was a massive success, but Sally later admitted that working with Williams, despite his genius, was exhausting because of his manic energy and constant need to perform. The mid-1990s brought changes in Hollywood that affected Sally's career trajectory. As she entered her 50s, the quality roles for women her age became increasingly scarce. This is a reality that many accomplished actresses face, but Sally refused to simply fade away. Instead, she began exploring other avenues, including directing and producing. Her directorial debut came with the 2000 television movie The Christmas Tree, but it was her return to television as a series regular that truly revitalized her career. In 2006, Sally joined the cast of Brothers and Sisters as Nora Walker, the matriarch of a complicated family. The role allowed Sally to showcase her dramatic skills while also providing moments of comedy and warmth. Her performance earned her an Emmy Award and reminded audiences why she was considered one of television's finest actresses. During the run of Brothers and Sisters, Sally's personal life found new stability. Her marriage to Alan Greisman had ended in divorce in 1994, but she had found peace as a single woman focused on her career and her family. Her sons had grown into successful adults, and Sally took pride in having raised them despite the challenges of being a working single mother in Hollywood. Sally's later career has been marked by carefully chosen roles that reflect her maturity as both an actress and a person. Her recurring role on ER as Abby Lockhart's bipolar mother allowed her to draw on her own experiences with mental illness, bringing authenticity and compassion to a character that could have easily become a caricature. In 2012, Sally took on one of her most challenging roles in years, playing Mary Todd Lincoln in Steven Spielberg's Lincoln. Working alongside Daniel Day-Lewis required Sally to match the intensity of one of cinema's most committed method actors. Her portrayal of the troubled First Lady was both sympathetic and unflinching, showing a woman struggling with grief, mental illness, and the pressures of being married to one of history's most important figures. Today, Sally Field's net worth of $55 million reflects not just her success as an actress, but her savvy as a businesswoman and investor. Her stunning oceanfront mansion in Malibu, purchased in the 1990s, serves as both a retreat from the pressures of Hollywood and a showcase for her impressive art collection. The home, valued at over $12 million, features expansive windows that frame Pacific Ocean views, creating a serene environment where Sally can reflect on her remarkable journey. The art collection that fills her home tells the story of a woman who has always appreciated beauty and creativity in all its forms. From contemporary paintings by emerging artists to classic pieces from established masters, Sally's collection reflects her sophisticated taste and her understanding that art, like acting, is about capturing the human experience in all its complexity. Sally's private life today is marked by the contentment that comes from hard-won wisdom. She maintains close relationships with her 3 sons and delights in her role as grandmother. Her struggles with bipolar disorder are well managed through therapy and medication, and she has become an advocate for mental health awareness, using her platform to reduce stigma and encourage others to seek help. The woman who once flew through the air as a nun and fought for workers, writes as Norma Rae has evolved into a respected elder stateswoman of Hollywood. Her memoir, In Pieces, published in 2018, revealed the depth of her early struggles and the strength it took to overcome them. The book was both a critical and commercial success, proving that audiences were still hungry for Sally's authentic voice. Recent roles in films like 80 for Brady, alongside Jane Fonda, Lily Tomlin and Rita Moreno have shown that Sally's comedic timing remains sharp and her ability to find truth in any character is undiminished. At 77, she continues to work steadily, choosing projects that challenge her and resonate with audiences of all ages. Sally Field's story is ultimately one of transformation and resilience. From the troubled child who found escape in performance to the accomplished actress who built an empire worth millions, she has never lost sight of what matters most: authentic human connection. Her lavish lifestyle, impressive art collection, and oceanfront mansion are not just symbols of financial success, but representations of a life fully lived and obstacles courageously overcome. In a career spanning more than 5 decades, Sally has collected 2 Academy Awards, 3 Emmy Awards, 2 Golden Globe Awards, and a Screen Actors Guild Award. But perhaps more importantly, she has earned the respect of her peers and the enduring love of audiences, who have watched her grow from a flying nun into one of America's most treasured actresses. Her influence extends beyond her performances to her advocacy work and her willingness to speak honestly about mental health, aging in Hollywood, and the challenges facing women in the entertainment industry. She has used her platform to support causes close to her heart, including LGBTQ+ rights, environmental protection, and mental health awareness. As we look at Sally Field's lavish world today, from her stunning Malibu home to her carefully curated art collection, we see not just the trappings of success, but the hard-earned rewards of a woman who never gave up on herself or her dreams. Her $55 million net worth represents more than financial achievement. It represents the value of perseverance, authenticity, and the courage to keep growing throughout a lifetime. Sally Field's journey reminds us that success is not just about reaching the top, but about how we handle the climb and what we choose to do once we get there. In her lavish oceanfront world, surrounded by art and memories, Sally Field continues to inspire us all to reach higher, dig deeper, and never stop believing in the power of our own stories. Her legacy is not just in the roles she has played, but in the life she has built and the example she continues to set for artists and dreamers everywhere.